Okay, what we will do today, is to discuss about the important definition. So I'll present to you some of the important term, something that you have to know, something that you have to be aware of, and do not ever misunderstood, any of the definition, because they sound similar. Some of them are ambiguous, they have same term but different meaning. So you have to be careful with the terms, and then we also will go into the introduction of software design process, all right. So software design, the process, or what else? Okay, the definition for software design, there's actually an ambiguous word. Like I said, one word, two meaning. Yeah. So software design has two meanings. When people say, where's your software design? Where is your design? So they are actually talking about your outcome, the thing that you produce, the artifacts. Yeah. Remember artifacts, the things that you actually produce during the process. Yeah. Any artifacts. Okay. So the other thing is the process. So like people will ask you, how's your software design going on? They are talking about your process, the thing that you are doing. Yeah. Okay. So one, software design process. Number two is the outcomes. So they are the same name, software design. So make sure when people ask you, make sure you know what they mean. Yeah. Are they talking about the process or are they talking about the outcome? All right. Okay. So secondly is about design phase. Okay. So design phase is actually a stage. And you have phase there, it's a stage. So when we're talking about design phase or design stage, we are actually referring to your SDLC. Okay, so remember we have prototype, we have waterfall. So when we say design phase, we're not talking about the process, we are talking about the stage in the SDLC, which usually come after the requirements phase. Yeah, plan, analyze, and then you get to do the design, right? Okay, so the input that we take from the requirement, the previous one, so we'll take some input from the previous phase, which is your requirements document, all the artifacts, all the function, FR and FR, etc. Quality constraint, anything. But usually we don't take your analysis outcome, your analysis artifacts. Remember that you do your interview, you do everything, the analysis tables, etc. before you can decide this is the table that we should put inside the SRS, right? So we usually take in the SRS, and the rest we will leave it to the requirement phase because we are moving to a new stage, right? Okay, so for design phase, we're focusing on how we can make sure that we can build a system that can actually fulfill all the requirements listed in the SRS. Okay, how? How can we make sure that? For example, one of the function is like you can withdraw money. Yeah, we can withdraw money from ATM. So how can we make sure people can do that? Can we just give them um, using phone and just an app? Is that enough? We have ATM app in the phone and just the phone. Can we make it work? Can they actually withdraw the money? No, physically no, cannot. Yeah, unless if you want to transfer that money to someone else, then that's okay, right? So how can we make sure our apps to be built can fulfill that requirements? So you have to go to each of the function that you listed and make sure if there is any technology needed, like when we want to withdraw money, we need the machine, we need the card slot, we need the money slot so the money can come out, like right? And then we need the keypad, So the screen as well. We need to know what are the things needed so that that function can work. Okay, understand? So the work product or the outcome, the artifacts. Okay, so we will produce design artifacts. We will produce the SDD, software design document, which is very similar to SRS except that it focuses on how, and any other type of design document. So usually design is a very huge things that it's involved huge information. So for example, if you are designing the user interface, you cannot put in everything inside the SDD. because why it's going to be so thick. Yeah, so what we can do is during design document, usually we can take it out, that part, and create specific document for user interface. All right, so that your SDD won't be that thick. Okay, right, so that is design phase. So now let's go to SDD. So I keep mentioning SDD, SDD, SDD. So before this we have SRS, 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 right? So this document contains design. So basically the format is just like SRS. Even the chapter 1, yeah, we still have the approval page, history page. So I hope that you can take a look back into what you have done, because many of you did not actually do the right thing. That's the problem. Almost everyone did not score on that. Yeah. So this is like a second chance for you. So make sure everything is correct. Yeah, especially for the first 2-3 pages. Yeah, and then for the chapter 1, the only things that might be different is the purpose of the document. The rest might be exactly the same. Yeah, except for the reference, you can add in the SRS now. Okay, because before this in the SRS you cannot add in SRS as reference, right? But now you have that as input, the SRS, so put that in as the reference inside your STT. All right, and the rest it will have some difference lah. Yeah, because the content is not the same like SRS, right? Okay, but basically the structure is almost the same, right? Okay. Design level. Okay, this is not design phase, but this is design level. So level is the activity inside the software design process. Okay, so we cannot call that phase or stage again, then we will get confused with the SDLC activities. Yeah, so let's take to, for the SDLC we can call it design phase or design stage. Yeah, and for this we call it design level. All right, so there are two main stages or two main levels, which are architectural design, let's focus on architecture, and the detail design. That's it. Only two levels, kan? Sounds really easy, but not bad, not bad. Sorry. So this is the architecture design. So let's go and see the definition. It's the process of defining a collection of hardware and software components and their interfaces. Okay? Hardware, software components, and their interfaces. So if you can remember all the arrows, yeah, in the diagram that you draw last week, that is interface. Yeah, we can say that actually represent the interface. And we have all the boxes, or you want to put the cloud something and all the database, kan? You can draw on the diagram. So that are the components. Yeah, so simple. Define the collection. Okay, for what? To establish the framework. But of course, the process in the architecture level, they have their own process or activity. It's not just about one framework of one diagram. Yeah, because I have already told you last week, we have at least three view. Yeah, architecture diagram view 1, view 2, and view 3. Or I usually call it ADV1, ADV2, ADV3. Yeah, so that the things, the term that we can use inside our class. Yeah, we don't ask someone else outside there and say, how to draw my ADV1, can you help? Yeah, it's something that we use inside the class, not for the outsiders. Yeah, okay. So for the process, what we can do is, first we will build the basic architecture diagram, the ADV1, and then we can start define the diagram. Yeah, if you can remember, there are second ADV2, and then we update that with the new information, and then go to another round and we decompose the internal body kan further, and then we update architecture. So that is what the thing happened. So 3 cycle if you have 3 ADV3, but there is another round where you have to refine the ADV3. because you will have to provide all the details. So there are extra, after you present the ADV3, there are extra information where you have to do some refining to make sure that the information in the ADV3 is relatively correct. Yeah. Okay. So architecture design, it's ambiguous term. The other meaning is the result of the design process, or the architecture process, sorry, architecture design process. So we call it architecture diagram. Okay, like I said, show me your architecture design. It means I want to see your diagram. Okay. Alright, so let's go to this analogy. This is about how important ADV1 to ADV3 and how far we can go. Yeah, how many views that we can go. So in this analogy, it has shown us the map of Perak. Okay, the first one is basically to show where is the Perak located in the map. Yeah, a single, you can see the name only Perak there. And then we have other states around. Okay, and then when it comes to second diagram picture, yeah, or figure, we can see that it's divided into several we call that region. Yeah, and then from there we can go in more detail. So in each district we can give more, yeah, detailed places. Yeah, and then the fourth one is where we put in some illustration. So does the last one actually give you better information? If you provide the last one, is it going to be more insightful? Is it will be useful? What do you think? Hmm?
I think no. I think that is it.
Why?
Because I cannot read the map.
You
I
cannot
don't
read the
know
map.
where is the places.
Okay, very good.
Too much knowledge.
But we can see something interesting in there. I can see some yachts, kan? Ada tu Menara Teluk Intan tu I can see it. Okay? Messy. Yes, but I provide the answer. Okay, so it's too crowded. You cannot read them. You cannot see what are there, except that they look interesting, but we don't get much information from there. Yeah, but except if you are looking for interesting places, maybe perhaps you can use this map, right? But if you said that this map will give more detail about Perak, then we cannot see that. Okay, so that's how we said we have to stop until the third picture. We cannot give more, otherwise it will look messy, or the map will be, we have to produce a bigger map, yeah, a bigger piece of paper to have everything inside the map. Okay, so second analogy. How about this? Can we have the last one? Is that going to be useful for us? The information?
Useful.
Apa dia?
Useful for the tourists.
For tourists, but it's not giving any detail for everything. Yeah, so it's just showing some part of interesting places, kan? It's not going more detail for everything, yeah, on the map. So this is also not suitable because it lost important details. Yeah, it's like for different purpose. It's not showing the map of Perak for everything, for all the tourists, or all the places in Perak. It's just showing some of the interesting places only. So, and it lost all the rest. Yeah, we cannot see, even we cannot see Mualim there anymore, kan? So something more information actually lost from the last diagram. So we have to stop until the third picture. We cannot go on. Yeah, and this is not suitable. If we want to say we want to give more detail, this is not the kind of detail that we're talking about. Yeah, so hopefully you can relate that. So that's why we have ADV1, ADV2, ADV3. Ingat tak? Where have you seen this thing? Have you seen this before? Macam soalan final. Kan? Sangat meninggalkan kenangan yang manis, kan? Okay. Nota. Saya ada bagi nota mana? Okay. Alright. So basically, for your final assessment kan, sadly to say, no one get the right answer. Dalam nota ada juga. You didn't give me the right answer. No one give me the right answer. Even the one that get highest mark did not actually score this question. Okay. So let's see what are the possible answers. Yeah, this one is possible one. Number one, you can use something like this. Remember, for use case diagram, you have to have the verb and noun. I can see many people still cannot get that one. Verb, noun, it's like they said book, ISBN. It's not like booking, but book is for book. Noun, yeah, book, ISBN. So that's not correct because that is noun. So we are looking for verb, noun, right? And then there are people also use incorrect term. Yeah, for example, you're supposed to scan barcode. Yeah, because you are the technical people, we don't say we scan the book. And some people say we scan the cover of the book. Come on, you're not scanning the cover and the book and looking for it. You are not doing any Google Lens application, right? So the Google Lens can actually search for it, kan? But we want a simple application, a small one. So we are using the Amazon web service, and just about we need to get that number. So instead of typing in, we can always scan the barcode. Not scan the number tau. Not scan ISBN number, but scan the ISBN barcode. Okay? Because that is two different things. You can enter the number, but when you come to scan, it has to be some images or something like, it has to be code lah normally. Kan? Ada macam-macam jenis code that we can, macam kita guna QR code ke kan. So you have to tell people clearly. So if you use scan barcode, okay. Or you say scan ISBN barcode, also okay. Alright. And then, okay, this one yang ramai salah. Search keyword. Okay. Ramai buat search topic still can be acceptable. Dia letak apa ya? Saya pun tak ingat lah. Tapi tak kena. Okay, this is the first possible answer. So we have the second one. Tapi yang ni tak ada orang buat lah. Yeah. So we have search price. So why we need to put in the barcode? Because kita nak tahu price, the lowest price. If you write down there, search the lowest price also can. Search lowest price, yeah, also can. Alright, and then how we can search the lowest price? There are two options, so you can extend. It's an option for them. They can go to the ISBN, enter them by themselves, or they can scan the barcode. Okay, and there's another one where they can search book, or search topic, also can, or search keyword, also can. Okay, and there's another possible way. Yang ni lebih selamat, but it's a bit long lah because you have using that. So usually I said verb noun kan. Kat mana pula nak letak using tu kan? But this is acceptable. Okay? Why? Because in the functions, they are actually giving you different method or different way, yeah, on how to achieve any of this. Yeah, so like search price using this or search price using that. So you can mention that inside the function. You can use either one. Okay. Now Ashril nak cakap apa tu? Alright, so as I said, we need information to do our design, right? So basically, as we can see, this input coming only from one user story. Yeah, maybe a collection, but it's not a complete story. So it didn't cover all the function. So during the software requirements, we expect that you have many more versions. Yeah, which is this may be the first version, but there will be more because there are many functions that is not inside the use case because of the information is not enough. So there are things like after you got the result, how do you display the list? Yeah, so that is part of the function as well. Yeah, and then how do you filter when you get information from the Amazon? It's like a raw data. Yeah, so how do you filter the information so that we can get the top lowest price kan, the most lowest price lah. So meaning that you have to filter. So filter is actually part of the function as well. So we can say that this still not unfinished business, but that's fine because I'm only asking you to create the use case diagram based on this user story only. You don't have to add in anything else. So what I can see is so many people add in, I can say 90% lah. 90% add login, register as new membership ke apa tu kan. Oh no, I'm not asking you that. If you just want to look for what's the lowest price for this chair, for example, do you have to log in? Do you want to keep that information forever inside your database? No, so you don't need log in. It's just like searching, browsing, like. But if you browse, if you use the browser like usual, it's going to take more time. So if you are a book lover, you always want to know the lowest price when you go to any bookshop, then you have this application. It can help you, yeah, to get to know the price as quickly as you can. Okay, so this app is not for everyone. So not everyone will think this will be useful, but this is something useful for some people. Okay, okay. So as I said, this input is not enough. Yeah, so we have to study more, and also there are other input from your SRS. Let's see inside the user story. So usually in the SRS you will mention these findings. Yeah. Okay, this one I don't want. Okay, that's number one, Amazon.com. And you have another one, which is scan the book. So these are actually important information inside the user stories. But like I said, you didn't bring everything inside your SRS, right? So you will leave out user stories from your SRS, but you will have somewhere to put the information. So where will you put this information? Dalam SRS. Kat mana you letak this information? So that the designer can find them. Kat part mana? Jangan kata approval page pula ya. Kat mana? Come on. Kat mana this important information will be included? You have analyzed these user stories. You have transformed them into diagrams or tables. How did you? Amazon function table. So how do you actually write them inside the? So it's like a description, long description. So where can we emphasize that? Yes, good. Domain statement. Remember? The domain statement. And you usually put it at the first page usually. Kan? Masa dekat bawah purpose tu. Okay? So you will mention them at the beginning. These are the technology that will involve. Okay? Domain statement. Saya ingatlah tu. Okay. Oh, one thing. When I ask people, you people lah kan, to write domain statement, alamak, I can see some different version. There's one, actually two, write a long essays, half page, 50 words kot kan. 50 words, yeah, essay. Macam dak sekolah rendah punya essay lah. But domain statement has to be short and firm. When people ask you, yeah, when you're doing your FYP exhibition kan, when people ask you, what do you do? What's your project? So you can actually memorize your domain statement because you can give that answer to them. They will simply understand your project in just 1 or 2 sentences, short one. But what if you give them 50 words essay? Will they get what you want to deliver? No, not in a short time. Sometimes orang tak dengar pun tak faham dah kan. So, domain statement will help you to explain your project. Masa kat mula-mula tu. Okay, it's like orang kata a good starter. Yeah, macam summary pun ada. Yeah, it's like a short summary. It's not summarize everything, but at least they give some clue, a good clue for your listener or siapa juri ke siapa, they can understand your project very well. So this domain statement is not something that you can find anywhere. This is something that I created, okay, to help you. Okay, because some people, even after they finish their FYP or doing the exhibition, when I say please describe your project in 2 sentences, they go on babbling about I don't know, and I still cannot understand what they are doing. Okay, so domain statement will be good for you, so use them wisely. Okay, so these are where you put the technology part. So Amazon.com and the scanner will be involved. All right. Okay, and once you know that Amazon.com, etc., scan the book, so the SRS team only provide you with this information, the domain statement. And they can also give you a little bit more about the technology inside the chapter 3, yeah, under part external interface. In external interface requirements, yeah, chapter 3. Okay, if you did actually put something there, okay, but if you don't, the designer team has to do their homework. Even if if you did put them, the designers still have to do their homework, because that is what they should do. Okay, so in the designer, they will take note, yeah, what they have to do, you have to do when you design. Let's say it's about Amazon. So you have to find out how can you actually get the information from Amazon. Do you have to pay them? Is there any short way, or maybe a free way to get the information? You usually want all free, right? So you have to get the information. Okay, so what do you need? Do you have to subscribe, or do you have to put in a code, some codes or whatever, right? So you have to do that homework. When it comes to barcode, so barcode scanner, what you should do you have to install the scanner inside the phone? Is there any scanner that will be compatible or not compatible? So you have to choose wisely which one is the best. So that are the things that designers are supposed to do before they start drawing the architecture diagram. Okay, you have to do your homework, you have to do some revision or have to do some research, yeah. And also you can ask experts on this. The most easiest one is to Google, but of course we're not sure whether the information reliable or not. But when it comes to architecture, you can see the similarities in the architecture diagrams. When you're finding some architecture diagram for example online payment, they will provide you, the Google will provide you so many different architecture, but they have some similarities there. So you need to find that similarity and see whether you can implement inside your design. Okay, so that's how you can get information. And also if you know someone work, technical people or software engineers, you can also ask them, yeah, if they know how to solve that, because we're finding the solution, yeah, about how to make sure that function can work. What are the things that we have to provide? So if there are any option, then which one we should pick? Yeah. And if at this point you have to know the constraint by the user, yeah, or by the developer. Is there anything that we cannot pick? Or is there anything that they prefer us to pick? So you have to read the SRS, yeah, throughout from the first page until the end, because you need to have that information before you can decide what you should put inside the design. Okay, so in this software designer notes, this is the homework. So usually in software design, I will give you these notes. It's not that your final assessment kan. It's not that when I give you a problem, then you have to find them yourself, you have to risk. No. Usually I'll give you the notes. It's just that from this note, can you actually transform them, convert them into the right diagram? Okay, it's that simple. So like I said, you can score this course, yeah. Okay, so Amazon Web Service, data from Amazon Web Service. That's what we call Amazon.com just now. Okay, and then application can only talk to any external system or external database. They have to go through middleman that we call API. Okay, so you have to do your homework on API. What is API? Yeah. Okay, second thing, yeah. So number 2 tak ada apa. Okay, the third point, the component required, tiny web database. Why we need tiny web database? Why we need the database? So it says that to get the return result from Amazon Web Service. Because why? We need to filter the text. We cannot just display this is the most, because Amazon will give us a list of books. Yeah. So we need to find out which one. Yeah. Unless if there is API, then can actually code right away. We want that most, the lowest one only, and then you don't need that database. You can just take it in and display. Okay, so it depends on your codes, yeah, how you design them. Okay, for this one, it says it needs the tiny web database, tiny web database. So it's not going to be inside local phone. Yeah, it's somewhere out there. Cloud ke, mungkin dia akan guna server ke. So you have to decide that. So we just mentioned tiny web database. Anything in the internet, yeah. Okay, so what's next? Barcode scanner. Okay, so you need to know how we can use barcode scanner, how it can function, what's needed. So we have to install, for example, we have to install the application kan. We're not talking about a physical barcode scanner tau, because you are using mobile phone, mobile app. So you don't have to bring your apa orang kata external physical barcode scanner. Nak barcode macam lebih kurang macam cek suhu tu kan. No. It's something inside your phone. So there are third-party application that you can always download, but you have to be careful because some of them is not compatible. So you have to choose. Yeah. Okay. So from here, basically, so we're not going to ask you to draw right now because it's going to take time because it's quite huge. Yeah. Quite large number of information here. So I'll provide you the answer there. Okay. So this is not going to come out inside the final assessment, yeah. So if it does, so please let me know so I can change the question. This is not going to come out, but this is something similar that will come out inside your final assessment. So make sure you can do this, yeah. So will not specifically focus on, oh, it must about tiny, it has to be cloud. No, the story can change, yeah. I can change wherever I like, kan. Okay, so as you can see here, the first thing that you should do, because you say it's a mobile app, so that is the easiest one you can start drawing, yeah. So this is the app, you have to deploy inside the smartphone. True. Okay, lepas tu nak tengok apa pula? Lepas tu nak macam mana pula langkah seterusnya? Lepas tu dah tak tahu nak buat macam mana, terus nangis, tak kerti nak buat final assessment. Ataupun baru baca dah gelabah dah, terus cari kawan. Tolonglah nak macam nak lukis ni, ya. Salah tu punya buat macam tu. Come on, believe in yourself. After you have covered this one, kan? So what's next? Draw architecture. Memanglah you are drawing now lah, Azlan. I'm asking you drawing. So the first thing that you will draw, takkanlah you nak draw everything at once, kan? So you must be doing part by part, kan? So like I said, if it's a mobile app, you can start with this one first. Draw this one, of course, the app first. And then draw the smartphone because it's about mobile app. Okay? And then use API sebab nak guna. Okay, so the first one, as you can see, the point number 1 here, they are talking about Amazon Web Service and also the API. So you can start drawing that. So the app, dia start from app lah kan. App yang guna that API sebagai orang tengah, and that API will help us to get to the Amazon Web Service. Okay, Shafiq, good. Alright, so Amazon Web Service will return something, but we don't have to draw the 2 arrows punya tu kan, 2 lane tu tak payah. So we just use one because this is ADV one. Okay, so this is complete already. Okay, this is complete. But then, number 3, tiny web database. Kat mana nak letak tiny ke? Nak guna kat sini, users tiny. Pisahkan terus. No, you can just put it together with the, connected with the middleman here. Yeah, because API ni sebenarnya code, your own code. Yeah, you have to create your own code for API that become the middleman. And usually, the API kita letak kat internet. Dalam cloud lah biasanya. Yeah. There is way, I'll show you somehow nanti. Simple je API ni. Code dia dalam 2-3 line pun boleh. Yeah, it's like a function tapi we put it inside the cloud. Ya. Macam text editor je, the simple one. But it will put the link to the Amazon, and it will also put the link to the database as well. But they have different macam perenggan lah, like code lah kan, macam different function gitu. Okay, so from this API, there are part inside the API that when they receive something from Amazon Web Service, they will send it to the database. And then the API also can filter out, so that they can update with something that has been filtered. And from there only, they send back to the app, so we get that information about the lowest one. So it will not return everything from the Amazon. It's going to be messy lah. Dia macam bila you pakai sebab dia coding kan, when it returns dia macam text yang you tak faham pun. Bukan tak faham, it's just like macam a dump of information, words kan, or numbers. So you have to filter the text, so that you can get that meaningful information from the things that they written. Yang kita nampak tu sebab dah disimplifykan, the higher view kan. Sebenarnya kat belakang tu penat dah diorang buat kerja, you tak nampak. And then you tahu je keluar je harga kan. Actually there are things that they done inside the code, inside the phone, in the app. Okay. So the API is also inside the cloud. So why the Amazon Web Service is not put inside the cloud? It's somewhere out there, tapi saya tak linkkan dia dengan cloud. Why? Kenapa agaknya? Kenapa Amazon? Sebab yes, very good. Because it's not ours. Okay, it's not ours. So as you can see, all the physical grey dengan white tu kan. Yang white tu is actually software. Saya tak letak legend kat sini. Yang silver tu, yang grey tu semuanya adalah apa dah? Hardware components. See, I didn't put hardware there kan. So I represent hardware with color. So the color will be grey. So any infrastructure that you use, you can use grey. It's supposed to be, bukan use grey. It's supposed to be hardware. So you guna notation untuk hardware, untuk any infrastructure like camera ke kan. So it's a hardware and it's actually infrastructure. IS-band scanner is actually app. It's a code kan, the software, bukan app, software. Betul lah, sama lah tu. And then book at Amazon also software. API is also software, it's a code. Some codes. So Amazon Web Service is actually milik Amazon, true. It's not because they are web service, no. It's because we cannot interfere anything with Amazon. It's just an infrastructure. Instead of orange, it's actually grey as well. But I decided to use orange because I want you to differentiate between what we have, the hardware that we actually have, the user have, and the things that we cannot control. Someone else punya. Okay? It's because it's someone else. So we don't decide where it should be. Like it's supposed to be in the cloud. So did you pay for the cloud? Takkan. So it's not yours. Okay? Anything like Google Map, for example, it's not something that is yours. Okay? So whenever you want to use this external system, kan, atau external infrastructure, make sure you have API. You have to create the API because we want to communicate with them. API is the middleman. So have to remember not to miss API whenever should. Okay, but as you can see, when the app interact with scanner, why we don't need API? Kenapa tak perlu API kat situ? And also when we talk to smartphone or we communicate or we use smartphone kan, why we don't need API there? Kenapa? And if you still remember, when we have that local tiny database, we also did not put API in between antara database dengan phone, dengan app tu. Why? Masa bila guna API, masa bila tak pakai API? Come on. Bonus mark kawan. Bila perlu guna servis yang tersedia ada, tu masa bila tu? Macam Instagram API, mesti guna API atau tak? Jamil? Yang ni ayat untuk guna API lah. Is it? Okay, very good. Okay, so nak guna mana-mana external system and external services, external infrastructure, you have to have API. Yeah, unless it can communicate directly to your phone like the GPS last week kan. They don't need API because they can interact directly to the smartphone. Okay, if it can interact directly to the smartphone, you don't have to put API because there is actually API inside your phone. So that they can decide, they will decide whether the other things will be compatible with the phone. Your mobile phone will detect that. They can help you. There are API, so or we call it driver as well. The things that we have a library ke apa kan dalam phone kan, you don't have to create them because your mobile phone has all them. Macam if we download S-band scanner app kan, we don't need to pay API. Why? Because the phone already decide it's compatible or not. You can already use the scanner, so you don't have to API. Dah ada macam Instagram, kita nak login perlukan API. Kita nak post guna API. True? True. We can actually code so that we can directly go to the Instagram through our app. True. We can use API. So because why you need API? Because Instagram is something somewhere out there. Yeah. Although we actually install them, kan, but the system is actually external system. It's not inside your smartphone. They are actually somewhere out there. So to connect with something out there, you need that API. It's not that you download je, you can, oh ni macam IS-band scanner lah, you can use them. IS-band scanner is different. They are actually local. When you download them, they are actually inside your phone. It's not that you have to access scanner when you download, you have to access the system out there. No, it's inside your phone. So you don't need API. Okay? Macam Instagram, we need API. Google Map, we need API. Okay? So normally, this external system ni, dia orang yang provide the API for you. You have to manipulate lah. So dia akan bagi macam satu syntax lah that you should put in ya, macam Amazon. You can take a look lah, Google Map API, you Google cari. Dia akan bagi dia punya code tu. So you have to put in inside your API. Alright, usually satu line je, dua line je. Okay. So this are the example for ADV1 going to ADV2 going to ADV3. Okay, so this is going to be a quite, orang kata panjang jugalah. Mungkin dalam sampai minggu ke-8 boleh siap ni. Yeah, the first and second one is the most easiest one. Even you can start doing on your project once you have that newest version, latest version of the good SRS kan. You can start doing the architecture diagram. Yeah, you can start from now. Yeah, okay. So view 1 is the outcome of defining activities. Okay, so if you still remember the diagram for tak apa, saya ada bagi. So this one is defining activity, the first one, and then the third one is decomposing. Yeah, so how about the second one? What do we do? So if you look into this, yeah, it mentioned about define. Yeah, define the diagram. Create lah, define. Kita define all the components needed kan. And then dah siap, kita pun lukis, build the diagram, the ADV1. And then kita pun pergi pusing balik one cycle, kita kata kita start decompose now. But the first thing, saat ni decompose. So this is the early stage of decompose. What do we do is, we have to pick an architecture pattern before we can proceed to decompose our internal body of the app. Okay, so it's actually happened here. Okay, update, pusing satu cycle, and then update lagi dapat ni, pusing lagi sekali dapat ni pula. Tapi kat sini ada sekali lagi you pusing sebab you nak refine dia. Okay, alright. So basically that what happened inside the architecture, design, process, yeah. Okay, so this is ADV1. Like I said, the most important thing, yeah, the term that is important is component. So you know hardware component, software component, and then we have interaction, blah blah blah, and then we have API when we should have API. how can we interact with the externals, okay, how can we use the infrastructure like GPS, or we can use Google Maps, etc. So that are all the components that you need to know. But remember, you need to decide whether you need API or not. So if you need, don't miss it, yeah. And also you have to remember, where is the thing will be located? Like if it's tiny database, local one, you don't need API, okay. But if it's something for the cloud, make sure you have the cloud component, and then make sure you have the API component as well. Okay, as simple as that. So write it down, because that is the rule. That are the rules. It's going to happen again and again when you design. Follow that rules. Okay. All right. Okay, so in ADV1, what we focus on is the architecture pattern. As you can see here, in the ADV1, it's empty, kan? So we start decompose. We are ready for decomposing activity, kan? So the first thing you have to do is to choose one pattern. So it depends on our domain application lah. Is it mobile app? Or is it web client server? Web client punya architecture. Or is it a clean architecture? So there are many different ways, and some of them suitable for mobile apps, some of them are not. Yeah. So you have to choose one. So here I choose layered architecture. Yeah, layered architecture. It has layer. So it can have many layers, but for your example, I choose 3 layers. Very easy. Okay, it's like front end. If you have ever heard front end, middle end, and back end. Okay, so this presentation layer is the front end. Things that your user can see on the screen, for example. Okay, and then we have something like data service, yeah, the agents, right? So there are things that your user cannot see, but it happens back there. The user just wait and get the results, but the things how you how to get it from the Amazon, and then how you filter that out, it's everything happen at the back. Okay, so that's what happened here. Okay, so architecture pattern. So there are any other examples, yeah. So layer is not in here. So you have to choose one. For example, here, this one also suitable. The clean architecture is almost like the onion. I don't know whether you will like it. So, but I'll show some example. Maybe in week 5 or yeah, how to use this layer. Sorry, this architecture pattern. So architecture patterns is actually pattern lah. Macam you buat baju, ada pola baju kan, siapa yang biasa buat baju. So you can choose any pola. If you want to make a blouse, you pick that blouse pattern, just draw on paper and then lukis kat kain, dia dah potong, dia terus jadi kan. So it's like something like this, just orang kata apa, macam example yang you have to just take it and guna macam tu. So it's going to show this is the pattern that I choose, this is the kind of architecture that it will represent, something like that. Okay, but we will go into this process later. This is introduction kan, minggu ni relax. Okay, so for the ADV3, so now we are going to decompose the internal body. So the important terms here is, other than class, is what? Subsystem. Kalau ingat, remember the department, nama lain dia, module ya. Kalau orang dalam industri, they usually call it module. Ya, we can call it subsystem as well. We can, kalau dalam kelas ni, you call department. Tu kalau keluar, you panggil department, diorang gelak lah pula kan. But for you, because for you to easy to understand, I use department senang. Okay. So we usually use package diagram, but it's not orang kata package diagram biasa, because why, we can remove the lines. As you can see here, you tak nampak the internal inside the package. Nampak tak benda dalam, tak ada kan, kosong kan. And there's no line as well, tak nampak line pun. Remember tak last week gambar yang penuh tu kan, ada package diagram, dalam package ada classes ya, ataupun ada function-function yang I mention kan, and ada lines pergi sana pergi sini kan. But that information is also important. But when it comes to ADV3, you kena simplify kan. You can remove the lines. Tapi maklumat yang ada lines tu you still have to retain for detail dalam SDDU, yeah, so that people can developer yang baca dia faham the internal story. Tapi bila you want to share this idea kan, this design, usually people tak buat public benda yang detail sangat tu. Dia give yang paling detail macam ni lah dia boleh bagi. Why? It is confidential. It's your IP, orang kata apa, intellectual property. Yeah, because that is your design. So normally we don't give people see our design because kalau ada competitors ke, they get your design, dia buat, dia orang dapat nama pula kan. Okay, so it's something like this lah. This one on the right, the details. Okay, yang ni cerita lain lah sebenarnya. Tapi inilah rupa kalau dah simplified. Meaning that from here, kita ambil nama dia je. Main menu subsystem, buang line-line semua ni, buang kotak tengah ni. And then we have current location subsystem, ada subsystem yang ni, and then subsystem ni. So ada 4 saja. This is presentation kan. Ni yang kat tengah. Ni kalau you nampak garis ni, sebenarnya yang ini cerita dia special sikit. Sebab yang ni ada bahagian yang dia masuk kat dalam presentation. Yang ni pun ada bahagian kat presentation. Maksudnya kat sini dia ada kat tengah-tengah garis ni. Kalau lah kata this is B1, ni kan B1, B2. Saya tak namakan sebab contoh kosong je. So B1, B2, B3, katalah ni B1, B2, B3. Okay, so this one kan, dia tak ada apa kan first ni kan. So we can actually letak macam ni, macam biasa. Bawah lah garis. Ni garis. So where is the garis? Here. Ni garis. Nampak tak? Garis. So anything above the line is the thing that user can see. Display ke apa kan on the screen. Okay, so for this one, maybe dia represent this one lah, because in the presentation dia tak ada apa-apa, kosong kat sini kan. So it start below the line lah. But for this one, nampak tak ni? Dia ada dalam presentation layer. Maknanya B2 ni sebenarnya dia ada kat tengah kat sini. Sama juga dengan B3, alamak silap ni. Ini B3 ya. B3 kat tengah ni sebab ada presentation. Separuh package diagram tu ada kat atas. Dapat tak? Faham tak? Ya. Ini kalau kita nak relatekan lah. Tapi sebenarnya it's different thing. Ini book Amazon, ini markup finder, mana sama kan? Okay. Ini just saya bagi contoh je. Alright. Okay. Dah masuk detail design. Dah dekat habis ni. So detail design. Tadi architecture kan. And now kita nak refine. And all of this component. All of this component here. Kejap. Okay. Yang ni kan. Yang ni. Setiap satu ni. They'll have their own detail description. And then antara ini ada link dengan yang bawah ni. Get current location ada link yang request location agent. You have to draw the relationship, or you have to draw their sequence diagram, how they get from here to there. Dia macam kita focus on some part and then detailkan, ceritakan dengan detailnya. Okay, so that's what happens at the detail design. So it will actually talk about user interface. Kalau dia melibatkan user interface, kan? Kalau tak ada lah, macam ni mana ada. Dia datang dari sini. Macam ni tak ada libat user interface. So user interface is not everything dalam design, yeah. There are many things, other things that we have to focus in our design. Okay, but user interface is actually part lah. Alright, so what are the differences? You baca lah. Okay, so dalam detail design kita fokus dekat dua benda ni je sebenarnya. Interface design, which include user interface but not only user interface, and also component design. Component yang tadi tu, your every kecil-kecil tadi kan dalam ADV3 tu. Okay, ADV1. Okay, lepas tu interface. Other than user interface, macam ni kan kita nampak dengan orang, there are also interface between sistem dengan sistem. Apa benda? Interface antara sistem dengan sistem. App kita dengan external system. Siapa akan jadi our interface? Siapa akan jadi our interface? Sistem, app, our app dengan external system, who will be our interface? Kita bercerita tentang interface. Interface ni macam mana? Is it a screen interface ke? Is it a form ke? Relate with something that I have explained to you just now. Siapa akan jadi interface kita? When we talk about interface, yes, true. API. API adalah orang tengah. So when we talk about interface, it's actually some codes, actually the API codes. Okay, so we call it interface because it will help us to communicate with other external system. So API is actually one of the interface, the code. Yeah. Okay, and then there are other things as well. So other than that, contoh ni kan, kalau you guna bank, interface dia, kalau you masukkan card, the card slot is also an interface. That is physical interface lah. That is external physical machine lah kan. Kemudian another interface also means ni kita panggil internal interface. Internal interface. Yang tadi ni kita panggil external interface dengan sistem API tu kan. Okay, and then we have internal. Ni kalau machine slot tu kita still panggil external juga. Tapi kalau dalam coding kita sendiri, between function dengan function tu, macam mana dia orang boleh bercakap, macam mana mereka boleh bertemu. So, this is how. Inilah dia. Nampak tak? What is this? This is also an interface. Okay? Ni behavior dia. Add number. This is the interface. How the main punya function ni, function can actually connect to add number. How they can actually interact with the add number is because of this thing, of this line. So this is an interface as well. This is what we call internal interface. So that's why kata bila kita cerita interface, it's not about user interface sahaja. Interface user tu termasuklah juga user interface, tapi ada lain lagi cerita yang penting-penting juga. Okay, so that is under interface design cerita. So you can go and read this one, baca, fahamkan, because you will use this for your design document nak produce nanti kan. Okay. Alright, so basically inilah benda kita pecahkan. You buka lah, besarkanlah gambar-gambar tu nanti. We'll not go into this yet because this is introduction kan. I'll give you this now so that you tahu apakah perbezaannya dan apakah persamaannya. Okay, under external ni tak habis ni sebenarnya. Dia ada after API design, yalah dengan external system lah kan, dia pakai API. Betul lah tu. Alright, ada important design activities. Kita kena tahu design documentation sebab tadi tu architecture design kan, dua je aktiviti dia. Lepas tu kita refine, kita ambil buat detail, so detail design baru dua aktiviti. Lepas tu ada others activity. Yang tadi dua tu main lah dalam software design process. So kita kena buat dokumen, remember, kita kena prepare, kita kena write kan. Lepas tu kita kena masukkan benda yang kita dah jumpa, and then we have to manage as well. Tapi biasalah saya tak cover pun bahagian management ni. Normally kalau manage dokumen, version kena jaga. Nama siapa yang buat tu kena boleh detect hasil dokumen diagram ni siapa yang buat ni kan. Senang kita nak blame dia kalau salah kan. Okay, and then construction design. Yang ni biasa tak buat. Ni biasanya yang last tu. Masa kita choose design pattern. Design pattern is for codes lah sebenarnya. Architecture pattern is also design pattern, but it's focus on architecture. Normally when software engineers dia sebut design pattern, dia sebenarnya it's not referring to architecture pattern, although can be part of design pattern. Tapi when they say design pattern, normally they are talking about codes. Design, macam kita design the code dalam cerita. So kita biasa nak cantikkan our code, so that macam mana nak jadikan code kita lebih pendek ke, tapi dia lebih efektif ke kan, lebih efisien ke, or kita nak jadikan our code lebih systematic ke. So that depends on the design pattern. So that is the last chapter in the course. Okay, last but not least, ingat tak lagi minggu lepas kita ada buat benda ni kan? Alright, so I give you one more chance before we finish. Boleh tak lukiskan? Sebab dah belajar dah kan? Hari tu kita tinggalkan tentang cloud database kan. So this is about my amazing calculator app. Okay, it will be deployed in the phone and it has to have the cloud database instead of just local tiny database hari tu kan. So we want to upgrade so that it will have only the database inside the cloud tu lah. So can you draw and share in the WhatsApp? Okay, siapa dapat jawapan pertama betul, saya bagi bonus mark. Okay, cepat. Lepas tu kita habiskan. Kalau dah habis dah. Kurangkan function. Ni saya dah mention dah minggu lepas. You kena kurangkan, you kena kecilkan. Unless you nak buat kerja lebih, buatlah 15 function. So, tak kisah. Kan? Tapi pilih function yang betul-betul berkaitan dengan charity. Dan kalau jadi, dia jadilah satu apps yang kecil tapi masih berguna lah. Jangan you pick function, bila jadi satu app tak apa-apa jadinya kan. So, up to you lah to choose. Cepat Azhar, lukis. Siapa orang pertama? Come on. My amazing app calculator app deploy into the mobile, the smartphone, and then the app can use database located in the cloud. What are the things needed? Dah siap lukis? Cepat. Share. Kat WhatsApp share kat WhatsApp. Ada satu jawapan daripada Hazlan. Smartphone deploy app dalam tu API. Okay, very good. Tapi tak habis lagi. Tak cukup. Ada satu lagi. Tertinggal. Alia. Okay. Mobile apa tu? Mobile Legend. Alia, mobile apa tu katanya? Tiny local DB. Are you sure? Banyak tinggal ni. Banyak salah juga. Azlan tadi tinggal satu je. Okay, hardware mana pula tu? Tak betul. Macam Hazlan punya tapi dia ada satu tinggal point. Okay, Hazlan dapat. Alright. So that's the answer. Hazlan jawapan kedua, jangan tengok jawapan pertama. Okay, basically sebab yang ni saya pakai omelette. Cloud tak ada dalam omelette, so saya terpaksa pakai box jugalah. Alright. So basically apa? The app deploy into smartphone, ya. So app akan guna API, ya, to get access, to send data ke apa into the TinyDB. This TinyDB bukan local tau. TinyDB, siapa yang tulis local tadi salah. So TinyDB ni dalam cloud. Kalau you tulis local database tapi cloud, pening lah developer macam mana nak buat tu. Okay, so API dengan TinyDB both inside the cloud. Okay, got that? Okay. API Hazlan tak ada dalam cloud. So that is the mistake lah. Single, satu je mistake. Alright, tak ada yang perfectly kot. Okay, tapi tak apa. Saya terima jawapan Hazlan yang kedua. But make sure API tu deploy dalam cloud ya. Location dia dekat dalam cloud. Ingat. It's not inside the phone. Okay? Alright. Okay, so that's it for today. So I'll see you again next week. Okay, bye-bye. Assalamualaikum.